Okay, let's quickly build the countries table with the values from the comma separated value file. So make sure that your country, well, let's just look at it, it's empty. So close it before you're going to import anything. Right click, import, and don't select the Excel because even though comma separated value files looks, icon sort of looks like Excel, it's actually opened with the text option. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to choose to apply it to the country data. Now we're going to also select commas, and we can see that the comma is there, and we're going to select the first row as the headers, and we're going to click. And again, I get the same error that okay, I'm getting actually tons of errors. So let me quickly fix it. So come back to country, and I'm gonna have to remove the underscore because that's not how it goes. And the column names must match, field names must match in order for the import to work. Okay. Okay, so I fixed that. Even though this is not really the best practice, but for the sake of the exercise, we're going to do it. But in the real life, I would highly advise you fixing that at the database level. Or, I'm sorry, at the data set you're importing level. So let's try it again. We don't want to save anything. And we should have, and we have countries. Great. So alternatively, you could, for the exercise, you could just select 3 countries that you're interested in and enter them manually, as we did with the payment methods. It's up to you, whatever you prefer. But I'm going to make the both files available for you. All right, so next step we want to actually include the combo boxes for those new tables that the data in the tables that we've created. So we're gonna go to the form and switch to the design view, and I'm gonna extend it again. So we're gonna select the combo box, and let's build the one for the state first. Something like this. So in this case, if we're not entering it manually, we want to combo box to get the values from another table or query option, the first one. So in this case, we're building it for the state, so we're going to select the state, and we're going to use keep the option for tables checked because that's what we're importing from. There is a way to import from queries, but again, we didn't cover queries yet, so we're going to use the table, and we're going to drag both. Actually, click the double arrow button to transfer both column names onto the selected field side. So then we're gonna select how do we want the records to be sorted. So I want them to be sorted by the state. All right. So that's how it's going to show in the drop-down box. Now, if I unselect this hide key, it will be showing both the key and the states, right? But we don't want that. We want, even though we're storing it in the database as abbreviations, for the users, we want them to see the full name of the state, just in case there's somebody, confused about differences between CA and CO. We want it to be spelled out. Right? Click next, and we want it to be stored in the state, right? And let's call it a state combo box and click finish. All right, so I'm gonna delete this and drag this all the way here to replace it. It's a little bit misaligned, but let me just do this. Drag this here. All right, so now let's test it and see if that actually does it. Yes, it does. Perfect. So let's do the same for the country. So we need another combo box. Again, I'm going to import it from the existing table. Both. And I'm going to select them according to the country. Now, very often, depending on what country you're in, or where your users rather are in, sometimes you want to have options of that country. Like for example, in the United States, you often see United States on top of ascending, of the list that were sorted in ascending order, even though it should be at the bottom essentially. But and that can be done later on, added programmatically, but in this case we'll just sort them in ascending order. So United States is not going to be at the top of the list, but we'll just go with options Excel is given us. I'm sorry, Access is given us. So ascending order, and I'm a little bit surprised. Oh, because Congo, Micronesia, they have some sort of... So Congo, Micronesia, and Palestine have a quote in front of it, and therefore they're sorted to be on top. So that's fine. We can keep it that way. And we're gonna obviously we're gonna hide the keys. But just so you know, this is actually interesting. We could use the quote to bring the country that we need to the top. So let's put United States at the top. Let's actually take those out. We needed to do it in the table. That's fine. We're not going to bother with it too much. But basically, this is why these three countries are on top. Store it in the country, and we're going to call it country. So we're going to delete this and move this over here. Again, I'm going to extend it a little bit. All right, so we got our countries in as well. Great. And just remember, like I said, if you want only three, and let's select United States. If you only want, if you want to input the countries manually, for example, that you're not doing your clients are not located anywhere outside US, you might just want to put the you might just want to put it manually and don't bother importing the entire data. But again, always keep in mind this strategic objectives of the company. The company might expand, or there are always exceptions. So the data is not that big; it's not going to take up too much of your space. So importing the having decoded abbreviations will help you in the future if your company decides to expand, right?